Stan Smith from American Dad is known for his outrageous and morally questionable behavior. As a CIA agent, father, and husband, his choices often range from selfish to downright dangerous. Have you ever wondered just how far Stan will go for his own benefit? Some of his actions are so extreme that they leave us questioning whether he genuinely cares about his family. From bizarre schemes to harmful decisions, Stan's behavior can be both shocking and hilarious. In this countdown, we'll explore the top 10 worst things Stan Smith has done. Are you ready to see how his actions stack up? Hit that subscribe button and like this video if you want to keep up with more jaw-dropping moments from your favorite shows. Let's dive into the chaos Stan has caused and uncover the craziest things he's done. Number 1. Convincing Francine she killed her friend. In one of Stan Smith's most shocking moments, he convinces his wife, Francine, that she accidentally killed her friend Melinda. After a disastrous date between Melinda and Stan's boss, Bullock, leads to Melinda's death, Stan decides to cover up the incident. Instead of taking responsibility, he frames Francine for the murder to avoid facing her anger. Overcome with guilt and believing she's a murderer, Francine flees to India to do charity work, trying to escape her anguish. It's only after causing her immense emotional pain that Stan finally admits the truth. This cruel act not only damages their relationship, but also reveals the extreme lengths Stan will go to protect himself, leaving us questioning his true regard for his family. Number 2. Capturing mom's boyfriends. Stan Smith's relationship with his mother, Betty, is both unsettling and bizarre. Not only does he have an unusually close bond with her, he even bathes with her, but he also takes drastic measures to keep her from dating. Over the past 35 years, any man who has shown interest in Betty has mysteriously disappeared. It turns out Stan has been behind their disappearances, kidnapping them and dumping them on a remote island. His extreme actions reveal a deep-seated selfishness, as he goes to great lengths to keep his mother all to himself. Stan's cruelty in denying her the chance to find happiness with someone else highlights his disturbing possessiveness. This dark and controlling behavior showcases just how far he will go to maintain his own comfort, no matter the cost to others. Number 3. Brainwashing Haley to be a sleeper agent. When Haley has a recurring dream about escaping societal pressures and decides to move to France for freedom, Stan views it as a threat. It's revealed that Haley was once part of a sleeper agent program as a child, and Stan knows the activation phrase to control her. In a desperate attempt to stop her from leaving, Stan uses this phrase to brainwash Haley, effectively stripping her of her freedom and autonomy. This chilling act highlights just how far Stan is willing to go to impose his beliefs and control over his family. It's a disturbing example of his extreme measures to prevent anyone from diverging from his views, even at the cost of their personal freedom and identity. Number 4. Wiping his family's memory. Father's Day is meant to be a special occasion for Stan, but when his family forgets, they try to make amends. Instead of appreciating their efforts, Stan becomes fixated on having the perfect day. He uses CIA technology to repeatedly wipe their memories, forcing them to relive the day over and over until it meets his unrealistic expectations. The worst part? Stan has kept his family trapped in this time loop for 6 months, all to satisfy his own selfish desires. This disturbing behavior shows just how far Stan will go to achieve his version of perfection, disregarding his family's well-being and happiness in the process. It's a shocking example of how his obsession can lead to cruel and excessive actions. Number 5. Injuring Steve. Stan's fear of losing Steve leads him to make a shocking decision. When Steve shows talent in bowling, Stan feels threatened that his son might become independent and no longer rely on him. To prevent this, Stan disguises himself as a coach and deliberately stabs Steve in the ankle, ruining his promising bowling career. This cruel act is a glaring example of Stan's selfishness and his willingness to go to extreme lengths to keep control over his children. Instead of supporting Steve's success and encouraging his independence, Stan's actions reveal just how far he'll go to avoid facing his own insecurities and maintain his position as the dominant figure in his son's life. This moment highlights Stan's deeply flawed approach to parenting and his disturbing need for control. Number 6. Tormenting Klaus. Klaus, the family's pet goldfish, wasn't always a fish. He was once a German Olympic skier whose brain was swapped with a fish's by the CIA. When Klaus is brought into Stan's home, he doesn't receive much kindness. Stan often ignores, silences, and belittles Klaus, even though Klaus frequently asks to be returned to his human body. This treatment reveals Stan's lack of empathy and his tendency to disregard those he considers unimportant. Instead of showing compassion for Klaus's unique and unfortunate situation, Stan's behavior reflects his broader inability to care for others who don't directly benefit him. Klaus's plight underscores Stan's selfish nature and his tendency to overlook the feelings and needs of those around him, highlighting a pattern of disregard for anyone he deems less significant. Number 7. Faking family vacations. Stan's version of a perfect family vacation is more about trickery than relaxation. Using CIA technology, he puts his family into artificial memory chambers. These chambers make them think they're on an amazing, exotic getaway, while in reality, they're still at home. Stan's real aim isn't just to escape his family, but to deceive them into believing they're on vacation. He goes as far as drugging them and exposing them to harmful goo in the chambers, which could jeopardize Haley's health. This scheme not only denies his family the chance to have genuine experiences, but also endangers their well-being. Instead of creating lasting memories, Stan's plan is all about pretending and risking harm for his own convenience. His idea of a vacation is twisted, turning what should be a time for bonding and fun into a dangerous and deceitful act. Number 8. Giving Steve a gun for Christmas. Despite Francine's strong objections, Stan buys Steve a gun for Christmas, breaking his promise not to. He doesn't teach Steve how to use it safely, leading to a disaster. Steve accidentally fires the gun in a mall parking lot, killing someone. Instead of addressing the serious consequences or helping Steve through the trauma, Stan focuses on hiding the incident from Francine. His priority is covering up his mistake rather than dealing with the fallout and supporting Steve. This careless approach shows Stan's lack of responsibility and his selfish disregard for his family's well-being. Number 9. Murdering the clones. Stan's decision to kill the clones of teenage girls created from a girl Steve liked is shockingly cruel. In his rush to protect his own interests, Stan shows a disturbing lack of empathy. Rather than dealing with the situation responsibly, he chooses to eliminate the clones. This act reveals his willingness to resort to extreme measures and violence, instead of finding a more ethical solution. Stan's actions not only harm innocent lives but also expose his deep disregard for others' feelings. His behavior highlights a troubling willingness to sacrifice others for his own benefit, showing his cruel and selfish nature. Number 10. Running a sweatshop. Stan takes advantage of an illegal immigrant by forcing him to run a sweatshop, paying him very low wages and giving him hardly any time off. This exploitation reveals Stan's deep greed and lack of concern for basic labor rights. Instead of treating the immigrant with fairness and respect, Stan uses the situation to maximize his own profit. By creating a harsh working environment and ignoring the workers' needs, he turns what could have been a chance for fair employment into a modern-day sweatshop. Stan's actions show his disregard for human dignity and his willingness to exploit others for his gain. His behavior not only highlights his ignorance about labor laws, but also his willingness to sacrifice others' well-being for his own benefit. This situation underscores Stan's troubling attitude and unethical practices.